Good morning. So we're going to make breakfast, and this is what we're going to start with. We're going to start with a chunk of this red bell pepper, this jalapeno, this habanero, and a wad of spinach. I'm going to cut all these up and saute them ahead of mixing with egg. And I'll show them to you again once I have them chopped up and ready to go in the pan with the butter. Bye for now. So here's the vegetables chopped up. I sort of rough diced the jalapeno and red bell pepper, just a chunk of it. Not by far not the whole red bell pepper, more like a quarter or a fifth of it. But I pretty finely chopped the habanero. The jalapeno has a good taste. I don't care for the texture of the seed pods, so I put it over here on the side in the compost. And you get pretty good heat from the habanero. It has typically more heat than the jalapeno anyway. In fact, it has quite a bit of heat, which I like a lot. And I diced it really small. So I'm going to put the heavier vegetables, the jalapeno and the red bell, in the saute first. Let them cook a while because I'd like to cook some of the water out of them. We'll be back. Here I'm sauteing the red bell and the jalapeno in butter that I let the water boil out of. So it just takes a couple of minutes of heating it. Or you could use ghee, which wouldn't have any water in to start with, or even vegetable oil or whatever you want to use. But I use butter. I'm going to cook these for a while to try to cook some of the water, especially out of the red bell pepper, which has a high water content. And I'm going to add salt to draw even more of the water out. And then I'll add the habanero and spinach. Okay, this is sauteed over medium to low heat for 4 or 5 minutes. I added about 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt and a good portion of fresh cracked black pepper. Now I'm going to add the spinach, which I just did a little rough chop on. It's the baby washed spinach, baby spinach you buy, and this chopped up habanero. You will get a little heat from the habanero, so keep that in mind. I also separated 2 eggs. I like egg yolks. They don't like me, so I have to separate them. If you're okay with them, then this is a step you don't need to do. But I would recommend cracking them into a dish so that you don't get any shells in your final mix. Because now we're going to saute the entire mixture for another 2 or 3 minutes. If you have people in the house that are sensitive to chili peppers, the smell from the habanero will be pretty intense. It doesn't bother me, but it is a slightly hotter pepper than some. And these were quite large. So this will cook down a little bit, and then we'll add the egg. After 3 or 4 minutes, this is what the spinach mixture will look like. And we are definitely ready to add the egg. So I'm going to do that. And just pour the egg in. And then I use the silicone spatula here to kind of mix everything up. I've already salted it, so I don't add any more salt. But, make sure you get plenty of salt in it, because salt is taste. I'm going to cook this till it's pretty much set. Once the eggs are set, I put them out on a plate, put a little bit of shredded cheese on top of them. Generally, I buy shredded cheese. I know it's better to shred it yourself, but it's a pain in the ass. And then I usually have a tortilla, a whole wheat tortilla that I make, but I gave them all to my nephew, so I'm using a couple pieces of sourdough bread that I made yesterday. I'm just going to toast it in the skillet here. I'll turn the heat up to medium-high, and then we'll be done. Then after I toast the bread, or tortilla, I prefer the tortilla, but today I have the bread, I put the egg and cheese concoction on top of it, and we're ready to eat. So that's breakfast.